Welcome back to the Rain Brings Growth podcast. I'm your host, Matt Sidwell. We're here with Kyle Belleville. How's it going, dude?
It's going, man.
Dude, it's been sick. It's been cool getting to know you, and I've been looking forward to this podcast for a minute, just talking to you at the ministry and just hearing your personal stories, and coming to find out you have like a law enforcement background too. So I was like, sick. Let's get this dude on.
Yeah, I feel like I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, man, my background's all over the place, but it's led me to where it's at, like where I'm at.
Yeah, that's what makes cool stories. So yeah, dude, let's just start it out. Tell people about yourself and where you're from.
Yeah, so my name's Kyle Belleville. I'm a follower of God first. I'm a husband. I've been with my wife for, man, I think like 13 years. We've been dating. I've been married with her for, shoot, she doesn't listen to this, probably like, I think it's been 5 years, going on 6. I got 2 kids. I got a daughter that's 5, and my son he's almost 2, and that's just been a cool experience. Like, I never thought I'd be having a son and a daughter, and that's just been a crazy experience. And I'm a business owner. I own Pristine Plumbing here in Idaho. I grew up in Southern California. That was my bubble for, man, like 25 years. That was like all I knew. Just Southern California, and now I'm here. I've been here almost 5 years, and it's just been an awesome experience. That's kind of the gist of me. My background is like, my dad was a plumber. He was a business owner, still is, and I just grew up watching him build a business. At the time, like, I didn't realize he was building a business. Like, that's just all I knew, was my dad was a plumber. Yeah. And like, I remember like watching him hire and fire, and like, I just thought it was cool when I was a kid to like go and work with my dad. He'd give me like $20. I'd like chase parts off his truck, dig holes, like looked like I was doing something, sweeping the floor. And like, he paid me $20 and a Starbucks, and I thought I was the coolest kid in the world, like getting whipped cream on the top of my coffee. And like, dude, I shouldn't even have been drinking coffee. It was some like peppermint thing. And I was just like, dude, this is cool. I did throw out with my dad. I just thought it was cool. And I worked with him for a while. Like, once I got my first car, that's when like I really started like doing things. That's when I was like, dude, my first car was a 73 Volkswagen bus. So like, and cool. It was like a total.
And you're in California, right?
Yeah.
So what part of California did you grow up in?
Southern California, just outside of LA. I was born in Glendora. That's where the hospital was, but like, my city that I grew up in was San Dimas. Okay. A lot of people know it for like Raging Waters, or I think there's a movie with Keanu Reeves. I can't remember the name off the top of my tongue, but San Dimas is like a small little town.
What'd you do for like, how long? So you grew up there then?
Mm-hmm.
So did you were you a sports kid, or did you play sports, or what was the childhood like?
Childhood was like, I was in Boy Scouts. That was like my thing.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts. Then I went into like, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a branch of Boy Scouts. It was like high adventure stuff, backpacking, rock climbing. Like, that was my thing. Going out into the mountains and just doing like adventure stuff was like what we did. I played baseball for a little while. That was cool. And then I was just like, this isn't for me anymore. Everybody was like super competitive. And I was like, I enjoyed baseball, but I didn't enjoy it enough to be like, yeah, like I want to compete. Like, I actually, like, these guys are competing now. Like, I just did it for fun. And then I stopped doing that, went into scouts, did a lot of skateboarding and like BMX stuff, just stuff outside. Like, cool. That was my realm. The skate parks, Boy Scouts, backpacking. That was me.
What'd you do for the Boy Scouts? I remember in Utah, we had this in-ground pool in our backyard, and we had a scout that lived across the street from us, and he came over for like one of his patches. He had to like blow up his clothes or something to make like a flotation out of it or something. Yeah. That was the coolest thing to watch.
Yeah, I remember doing that. We did that, like, I think it was our pants. We tied them up and like turned them into a life jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember doing that. We did a lot of stuff, but like, my biggest thing, Like, I just like to be outside. Like, I wanted, we climbed Half Dome, Clouds Rest, um, Mount Whitney. I did like a 45-mile, 7-day trek.
I've heard of Half Dome. Where's that one? Is that Yosemite?
Yosemite.
That's
Yep.
that one that dude just died, right? Somebody was like filming him and he fell.
Oh,
He
I'm
was going
sure.
back down to get like some gear or something.
Yeah.
He made it to the top and then he just watched. I was
Dude,
like,
I'm
"Whoa."
sure. Like, that was the first time. Actually, Clouds Rest was just on the other side, or just, I think, like north of it. And that was the first time I ever felt like vertigo when I like got to the peak and I'm looking at these sheer cliffs of like granite cliffs in this valley. And like my body was just telling me, like, do not go any closer. Like, I felt so uncomfortable, like to the point where I was like crawling on my hands and knees. And like, I remember my buddies were making fun of me about it. I'm like, dude, like, I normally I'm not afraid of heights, but this is really tripping my body out right now. And Half Dome, same thing. Like, it's just a sheer cliff. We like took pictures right on, like, it's called the diving board of it.
Yeah.
And like, it's just an insane moment. Like, climbing this cable thing with some planks and then standing on this deck to like look over this granite sheer cliff. And I was like, this is cool. I made it to the top, but like, I'm done. Like, there's no picture moment here for me. Like, I can say in my heart, I made it to the top. I don't care about the picture.
What is it like to get back down then? So you go to the top and you just take like a trail back down, or
No, same way up, same way down.
Oh, really?
Like, if you, let's say I get there before you, like, I'm climbing up and then you get there, like, there's like really no rhyme or reason. It's just like 2 tables and some planks, and like, people were going on the other side of the tables and like giving you room, because I don't remember what the actual, like, there's an etiquette. I think going up may have the right of way. I don't remember, but there's some sort of trail etiquette there. But same way up, same way down, and yeah, it'll get your palms sweaty. It did for me, at least.
that's the same mountain where that dude free soloed, right?
That's El Capitan. I think.
Is that a different park?
Yeah, no, same. It's still Yosemite, but it's just on the other side, like on the.
Oh,
I
like a
think it's
different
on the main
trail
entrance.
going up.
Yeah,
Oh, sweet.
yeah,
Yeah, that's nuts.
it's crazy.
No ropes.
Yeah, no ropes, no go, dude. No. I don't even like watching the documentary. It trips me up.
Yeah, that's crazy. So how far into Scouts did you go? Did you get your Eagle Scout?
All the way to Eagle.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was like my parents pushed me to that. There was a point where I was like, dude, I don't want to do this no more. But it was like a lot of my buddies had like I think the saying was like no wings, no Eagle, like no keys. My parents like didn't have that same saying, but it was pretty much like, if you don't get this, like, there's gonna be consequences. And it was like not in a bad way. It's just like they wanted me to follow through with it and not quit. There was a point where I was like, dude, like, I'm just over Scouts. Like, I'm in high school. Like, Scouts is not as cool anymore. But it was a good experience for me. I ended up making it to. I was like the senior patrol leader. Like, I was in charge of like 80 kids and like different patrols, and like we really, at that point, we changed it from like a parent run troop to like an actual like kid run troop. So we actually like, the troop was really heavily dominated, like where parents just like handheld and like planned all the events and all the different things. And we turned it around to like, what do like the kids want? What do we want to do? Like, do we want to go to Yosemite? Do we want to go shoot guns? Do we want to go mountain or snow camping? Like, what do we want to do? Like, let's plan it. Like, let's actually do that. So that was a cool experience, like where I kind of fell into like a leadership position, and like I was voted like for the senior patrol spot, and that was just a cool experience for me. I look back to that frequently, where I'm like, this is kind of the first point where I actually like became a leader. That was a cool thing for me.
What did you do for your Eagle Scout project?
Man, what did I do? There was a park, Benelli Park. I planted a bunch of trees, and they had like wood tables that were just completely like corroded with paint chipping off of them. And I restored those.
Nice.
Now that I think about it, I might be mixing up mine and my brother's, but I'll go with that. I'm pretty sure that's what I did.
So all your family was Scouts then?
Yeah, my brother and my stepbrother, all my friends from first grade, like good buddies of mine. That's what we did.
You got to be back in Scouts when it was just Boy Scouts.
For sure, yeah. It ain't from my understanding, It's not the same anymore.
Now they just call it Scouts because girls are allowed.
Yeah, that's lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They already got Girl Scouts.
Yeah, dude.
They won't let boys in Girl Scouts with good cause.
Stay in your lane. Like, what are
Yeah.
you guys doing?
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you said that was your first experience with leadership. So obviously you're in your leadership role now, but what was that like taking a leadership role? Was it something new to you?
Yeah, it like motivated me. I remember like it was me and it was a weird moment because it was me and two of my closest buddies competing for this one position. Like we all wanted it. So it was really weird. Like these are my best friends I've known since like first grade to fourth grade. Like I grew up with these guys. So to compete against them, it was like, dang, like only one of us can get this spot. And I remember like getting super excited, making this like speech and like visualizing it in my head. I was gonna like throw out candy like when I won, and like I just like knew I was gonna win it, and like didn't want to tell them, but like in my head like I didn't want to lose. Like I was gonna get this position, and it was a cool thing for me because like I just felt like there was a small pressure of like, hey, these kids are all looking to me for guidance, like in different ways. And I don't really remember what they are like at this current moment. I just remember that like thought going through my head, like I'm in charge. Aside from the parents, like this is like my troop. I'm leading. Like let's do something cool. And that's what I wanted to do.
Nice. So when you got out of high school, then what'd you do then?
Man, like I worked for my dad partially like in high school. And I just did what everybody else did. I went to college locally, went to Cal Poly Pomona, studied. I went in, like originally I wanted to work for Pixar. I wanted to be a graphic designer, and I got accepted into like some Laguna art school. Ended up going to Cal Poly for some sort of art degree, graphic design. That's what it was. And then like did that for a year and was like, okay, this is cool. Like I'm doing pottery and like art stuff, but like, is there money to be made in this, or am I just like wasting time and money here?
Mm-hmm.
So I quickly switched to business management and with an emphasis on entrepreneurship. And that was really cool. Like there was a lot of professors and classes I had that I thought were cool. And I just like did it because that's what everybody else was doing. You know, like I knew like my dad was a business owner and I always kind of had entrepreneurial like spirit in my mind. Like I would make t-shirts with my brother through high school. We would like sell stuff like t-shirts, try to sell water bottles. I bought and sold like 16 cars by the time of senior year or like the end of my college. I just bought and sold a lot of stuff. So I was just always trying to make a buck, like just doing something like I thought was cool. So I went to college, did that, worked for my dad while I went to school, and was just making killer money. Like for a kid, I still lived at home. I didn't have any student loans. I was working for my dad and just like bought a bunch of stuff. And it was like, okay, my dad put me in check real quick. He's like, dude, you got to lift a truck, a dirt bike. Like, you're going to pay me rent, dude.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Did you get a scholarship then? Is that why you didn't have any loans? Or were you just paying your way through college?
No, I just paid my way through.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think like coming out of it, I think I owed, not much, dude. Like maybe $600-700, nice. And that was like for like textbooks and stuff. But I just paid my way through.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were working pretty much full time then, and going to school.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Doing a lot of like copper repipes. I'd be in attics. Some days I'd go to school like at night and just be covered in construction clothes.
But you really had no intention of ever making plumbing like a full-time thing. You were just doing that while you were just in college because you wanted to. What was your plan going through college once you switched it to business?
I always had like a thought in the back of my head, like I wanted to be a cop. Yeah. Like being in scouts, there was a lot of fathers that were like in law enforcement. So that was like a heavy influence. Like there was chief of polices. They're all the way from like sheriff's deputies, like just all these different things. We'd go out and like tour police stations. So like I always kind of wanted to do that, but I remember like a distinct moment. I was at home sitting on my bed watching like some old reality TV show. I think it was called The Academy. And I was watching it and it was like this stress induced academy. They're screaming at you like military style. And I was like, in my own head, I had a lot of doubt. Like, dude, I was a skinny kid. I didn't weigh much. Like, I just had a lot of doubt. Like, I can't do this. And I shut myself down immediately. And I just, I pretty much shut myself down. Like, I would never be able to do that. Plus, also, like, I was a pretty reckless kid. Not like, I never like did a bunch of stuff like hurt anybody or anything, but like, dude, I was always running from the cops, like on my skateboard from the skate park. I just thought like like if I was gonna do a polygraph, there's no way they're gonna let me into this. Like nothing to disqualify me, but I always just like kind of my own mind would tell me like, dude, you can't do that. You can't do that. You remember that time you ran from the cops for no reason? Like I was just some middle school kid. Like because a cop car pulled up to the skate park, we would all run, you know, like,
Yeah.
and in my own head, I'm like, dude, like I ran from the cops.
Yeah.
And there was like other things too, but it was just more like my own mind was telling me like, you can't do that. So I just took like the easy route and like worked for my dad. And that was really good for a while. It came to a point where I was like, no, I think I'm going to try this. Like, let's not shut it down. Let's see what this looks like.
What got you to switch over to that mindset then?
I knew the chief of police for Glendale, and I just had reached out to him. Like I remember when I left Scouts, he like told me, "Hey, if you ever want to pursue a career in law enforcement, like you are the ideal person we're looking for." Like I remember he gave me a plaque and this award, and I just thought, okay, well, like I kind of used that card and was like, hey, can I get a ride along? Like I didn't know how even ride alongs worked. I didn't even know, you could just walk in and get a ride along. I thought law enforcement and like fire department, you needed to know somebody to get in. So I reached out to him and was like, hey, can I get a ride along with you guys? And at that point, I think it was like a BLM riot. I was in a ride along for like an hour and they pulled back up to the station like, hey, we just got called for mutual aid. You're not gonna be able to continue with us. They're all suiting up in like riot gear, and I'm like, dude, this is cool. Like, come on, like, where are you guys going? I'm gonna drive.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking that in my head, like, dude, I want to like ride with you guys. So that kind of cut short, but I was like, dude, my heart's beating. Like, this is exciting me. I want to see more. So I came back the next week. I asked them like, hey, because my time got cut short here, you guys barely just loaded up the cars and went 10-8, and now I'm getting my time cut short here. So it was like, can I come back next week? And I did. And I remember just like all the things, going to get pokey and eating in a parking lot on a hood of a Crown Vic and going to like a domestic violence call. Remember like going with the officers to that. And I remember him telling me like, hey, this is a sketchy hotel condo kind of like tri-level thing. So if it goes south, like you need to run back to the cars. And I'm thinking like, yeah, dude, like I'm excited.
Right.
Like this is cool. So I remember going up the stairwell with them and like looking down the hallway and like dudes, like everybody's running away from this hallway and they're running towards the scene. And like, I don't know what was going on in the radioactivity. But I remember them going, there's a gun. And I darted because I'm like just wearing actually I was wearing a suit and tie.
Yeah.
And like people were running and I'm like, what? But I remember distinctly seeing them running towards that. And I go back down. I remember just trying to listen to them and be respectful and like, I don't want to get shot. So I remember like going back down to the cars and just the whole cavalry pulling up. And I was like, dude, at that moment, like I knew that's what I was going to do. Like that was the turning point for me. It was like, I'm doing this. So like I talked to that chief and he asked me like how my experience was. And I was like, yeah, no doubt. Like I want to do this. So I did. And like he recommended a bunch of different departments, like when he started his career, where he wanted to work. One of those was a city called Pomona, which was like the dirt bag of all areas in that area. Like everybody, you don't drive through Pomona, you drive around it. Like there's prostitution, drugs, cartels, shootings. Like it's the worst part of that little bubble I lived in. And I was like, all right, cool. If he's telling me like there's a lot of opportunity here, SWAT, major crimes, like all these different things, I'm going to listen to him and like do it. But I also like shotgun blasted applications out to like everywhere. Just, I thought in my head, like, it's going to take a lot for me to get hired somewhere. And really, Pomona was the first one to pick me up, like put me through backgrounds and all these things. And I started hearing back from different departments. But I was already so deep into the process with Pomona, and I was like, dude, it'd be a slap to the face to like jump to like Irvine or these different places, even though they pay more and it's probably a better city to work in. I was like, I'm going to run with Pomona. And there was like 200 applicants and they hired 2 of us. So I was like, dude, I'm committed. Like I'm in now. Like I'm in the department. I remember telling my dad I'm going to be a cop. He supported me. My mom didn't really support me in it. She was like fearful. Why do you want to be a cop? But I'm like, no, you can't change my mind. Like, I'm doing this. And that was like a new chapter for me. It was cool.
Was your degree required to get on with a PD?
No.
There's a lot of departments around here where they require at least like a 2-year. They don't care what it's in. They just
Yeah.
want to know that you went to school. So I didn't know if...
I think it helped because like my college that I went to was in that city.
Okay.
I remember them asking me like, why do you want to work here? And I was like, dude, like in my head, I'm thinking like, you guys are cowboys running around like chasing people. And like, I want to be a cowboy.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I went to school in Pomona. Like I used that as a relatability aspect, but I just remember like knowing like my mindset shifted so much. I remember going from like this kid to like this almost like a boot camp. Like I don't want to disrespect the military in any way. Like I've never been in the military, but the academy was a stress-induced academy with a lot of like Marine-based attributes. Like a lot of the drill sergeants there were Marines and they used their boot camp philosophy towards this academy. So like I remember doing push-ups. Like they brought me on like a month or 2 before the academy, and they would basically have me training. I was running miles. Like I was never a runner at all, and now I'm running like 5-6 miles like
in one stretch.
Oh yeah, like 6-minute miles. Like I'm hauling, dude.
Geez.
Like I lost a bunch of weight. Like I turned myself into a runner, and like I learned everything from like the law enforcement code of ethics to like ammunition, the gun serial numbers, like population, chief of police, officers who were shot in the line of duty. Like I knew everything. You couldn't throw something at me where I couldn't recite it in like a locked position of just like, I was dialed. Like I felt like they really put me in a position of like, we're going to make you succeed.
How long was that academy?
6 months, maybe a little bit longer.
And it's just like drill sergeants every single day or what?
Oh yeah. Like the first day, I mean, they dump your bags. I mean, you line up, you're suited up, they dump your bags. Our class was 25 or 30 people. Normally the classes are a lot bigger than that. I think ours was probably the smallest class in that history. The first day they dump all of our bags. So like everybody's stuff is misarranged. I'm wearing somebody else's shirt. Like my shirt says Garcia and it's like a size medium and like it doesn't fit and like all these different things, right? And like they're just screaming at you, hitting lockers, you're hitting push-ups. Like people are grunting, making noises, and they're yelling at you. I was filling up my water bottle and they're yelling at me, faster, 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 faster. I'm like, dude, like the fountain can't go any faster.
Yeah.
But like in my head, I'm like, don't say nothing, dude. Like,
yeah.
I tried not to like stand out. And there was a lot of people that stood out, you know, and like there was no way to hide. Our class was so small, there was no hiding. I remember people telling me like, dude, just don't stand out, like just blend in, don't like bring attention to yourself. And there was no way of not doing that with how small our classes. We had, I don't remember how many, they're called RTOs, but there was a whole bunch of them, and you're just hitting push-ups, burpees, hill climbers, mountain climbers, whatever it is. Like,
Yeah.
it was fun.
Yeah. How many people quit?
A lot. I remember seeing like the first day people dropping like flies.
Yeah.
And like I did the pre-academy, and Pomona put me through a bunch of stuff. So like I was pretty well locked in. Like I knew what was coming. I didn't know like our badge were gonna get dumped and like this whole thing. Plus like the mental aspect of it, we had to stay up. Like there was a couple nights I didn't go to bed. I was writing memos. You had to like handwrite stuff, and you had to keep your letters within the lines, and things would be perfect. And like if they weren't, they'd get kicked back. And now you got memos the next day plus your kickbacks. Like it just stacked up. So the more memos you got, the less sleep you got. So like I really relied on my wife. My wife helped me a lot during this time. So like, her and I have been together since college. And she would make me like omelets and sandwiches and like all this food, because she knew like she would go to bed and I'm like there writing memos, and I'm trying to hack the memos and do like a light board and all these different things. But people dropped quick, and a lot of like we got down, our graduating class was, I think 14, maybe 12.
From
I think
where
like
did you start?
30. So
Really?
like probably about half. And there was probably a couple people too that should have like got dropped towards the end. And I think the academy kept them around, but there was like a lot of people dropped.
Did they start to wean off a little bit of like how pressure after they could see like who was actually going to make it, and there was like a little
Yeah, kind of. Like when we came in, there was a senior class to us, and like we kind of like looked to them as a mirror of like, okay, hey, this senior class is still getting drilled, and they're still getting hit in drill and ceremony and marching and all these things, or out on the grinder, they're still hitting pull-ups. But like there was a point where we were like, they're not getting hit as hard, and like those RTOs are hammering us. So like there was some light at the end of the tunnel, knowing like we're not going to be at that point. So they did kind of wean off, and like what they did, they kind of switched. Like there was still discipline and structure, but it like a point switched to where it was like, let me help you succeed. Like, let me make sure you're going to go home to your family at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And like, this isn't just about yelling and screaming and spitting in your face anymore. It's like, that's still going to happen if like you guys screw up, but like, let's make sure you and the guy next to you gets home at the end of the night.
Yeah. Yeah, there's I mean, I've never like you, I've never been in the military, but when I was in the prisons, I finally got in shape enough to go on the CERT team.
Yeah.
And they put you through a 10-day stress academy, so it's not 6 months, but it's like we started with 24 and there was 10 of us that graduated.
Yep.
But like it went quick.
For sure.
And you're like going through some of the stuff that they put you through, and you're like, how is this applicable at all? What is going on?
Yeah.
Like this doesn't make any sense. And as you keep going through the academy, you're like, oh, okay, I understand why they did that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of stuff where I was like, I don't understand this. But then like as we got through towards the end of it, it was like, all right, I see where like this lesson applies.
Yeah.
You know?
I talked to a few people going in. One of them was one of the old CERT commanders, and he's like, it doesn't matter how tough you are. Everybody is going to have a day and a time where they just are thinking to themselves, why the hell am I voluntarily putting me through this? He's like, you're going to want to quit. Don't quit. He's like, it might be on night 1. It might be on night 7. It's going to hit one time. And then you gotta make like little goals. Go to the next, just make it to the next meal. Don't try and make it to the end of the day, and just make it to the next meal. Just make it to the next meal. Just make it to the next meal. He's like, you just set those little goals, and eventually you'll make it.
I had that same thought. Like I knew I wasn't going to quit. There was some days where I was like, I'm done with this, but I never let that voice of doubt creep in, because I had experienced that previously of like not joining law enforcement. So like I knew that there was like, I'm in. I was like, there's no going back. Like I can't quit. If I quit, Pomona fires me. Mm-hmm. And then now I got to apply to a different department and justify why I quit. Like there's weakness there. So I was like, I can't quit.
But you got to go home every night.
I got to go home every night. That we got to do.
Did that make it harder?
Yeah.
Because I talked to some people too. Like we did ours out here at Gowan Field, and they're like, "Don't go home. Like you can. It's allowed, but we were staying on the barracks.
Yeah.
They're like, you can go home, but you got to be back the next morning at, I think, we had to be in formation at a certain time. It was like 5:30, whatever. It was in the middle of summer, so it was really early, like first light, right? They're like, you can do it, but you get on the CERT team, you're only making an extra 50 cents an hour. It's not like you're doing it for like a career. Like it's just an add-on to your additional job, right?
Right.
So it's like, but he's like, you get home, you put your head on that pillow, and you're like, a lot of people end up quitting.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, they'll call in to their person or whatever, and they're just like, no, I'm going home. Or
I think like it did make it hard, but it also kind of gave me like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Like, because I still had stuff to do at home. Like I had to prep. I had to do those memos, which was huge. But it was also like prep of different things. And then I think it just was like driving home from the academy. I'd drive with like one of the other guys, and we'd just be beat. There was a Carl's Jr. across the street. Like we would stop at Carl's and just pound a whatever bacon cheeseburger. We were burning so many calories. Like
yeah,
it didn't even affect us.
You couldn't replenish that calorie. Yeah.
No, we could eat 6 of those things, and
you're in California heat, right? So
yeah. I also like at one point I kind of like really wanted to be at the top of my class. So like I remember competing with one of the guys in there for like the most athletic to carry the flag. I think it was the guide or the guide on. Like that was the head of your like I don't remember what they called them, like platoon or whatever it was, and like that was just a goal for me. Like I never was a runner. I never was good at fitness really, but like my push-ups, I just turned into an animal, and I tried to compete against this guy who was a killer runner, and I ended up getting the guide position, which was cool. Like that was a goal checked off for me. And then after that, I got voted, same thing there, class president. And that was like outside of the academy. Like I worked, that was a cool moment for me is I got to work with the RTOs. Like they were like, hey, you got to do a class gift, or like you got to do these different things. So I got to see like the RTOs in a non-stress environment. But I remember going and like, they're like, you have an RTO meeting. And I'm like, dude, like I got to knock on this door, ring this bell a certain way, ask permission to enter.
Are those the drill sergeants?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like a certain set of procedures you have to do when you come in. You put your back to the wall. You ask permission to speak. And I remember walking in, doing all that. And they're like, hey, relax, sit down, let's talk. And I was like, whoa. Like I've only seen you with the old smoky hats.
Yeah.
All like shirts tight, and most of the time you're spitting in my face, and now like we're talking just as we are right now. I was like, whoa, this is cool. But I still respect you, but this is cool. Like I get an opportunity to like do something cool here.
Yeah. Dude, when you were talking about them tossing all of your stuff, that must be like a tradition. I'm sure everybody does that, but that happened to us. We get out onto Gowan Field, the bus pulls up onto this tarmac and or the blacktop, and it was like their drill and ceremony place, and everybody's got their duffel bags with all their stuff for the week, and they just start going everywhere. They're like, it's a yard sale. And they're just going everywhere, and but we just got done qualifying at the range before, and somebody had like slipped or just forgot that they had a bullet in their pocket, and you're not supposed to have any ammo on the military base. It was just a single bullet, and everybody got smoked. We all thought that it was a part of like their thing, and like we found out later that it wasn't. We thought that they just like put it there and was like, whose is this? Just to like punish us all, right? But somebody actually did bring it in. They told us later. But it was, dude, that was like my first night. I told you like you're gonna have that one night you want to quit. That was my first night. I was like, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I shouldn't say that I wanted to quit, but I definitely was second guessing, like, is this worth it?
For sure.
And then I was like, I'll never get this opportunity again. And but that was like the biggest wake up call you're I mean, they were just having you do whatever just to see if you would quit. And there was a good amount of people that quit.
Yeah.
Do you remember a certain day during your academy that like it was just the worst and you had the most dropouts? Most people quit.
Yeah. I remember there was a guy, I didn't know this at the time, but he was like super out there. Like he was always just yelling and like talking craziness. Like he just stood out like a sore thumb. It was like he wasn't hired by any agency. Like
One of the other candidates.
he just put himself through the thing. Like he wasn't hired by anybody. And it was like, dude, was this guy like, what is going on with this guy? And I remember like we came to lunch and like the drill sergeants they took his badge and they hucked him like 60 feet onto the rear grinder. And like we're all sitting there eating lunch and like you ate fast. There was no messing around. You ate flashcards, you're studying like penal codes and vehicle codes. Head down, don't talk, just whatever. I remember that whispered in his ear something, and he stood up, started crying, and just ran off like a child, like a kid. And I was like, whoa, what just happened here? And nobody really knew. And it wasn't really until the end of the academy, like we all found out that he was like a stolen valor. He was claiming that he was in the army. Like during classes, he would say like, oh, I was deployed in Afghanistan. I was struck by, a bomb and all this like different stuff. And everyone was like instructors and like classmates all were like, not just gave him a level of respect. Like, hey, thank you for your service, And it came out like the drill sergeants found out that he wasn't actually deployed. He wasn't actually in the service. And they whispered in his ear and were like, dude, like, you want to tell your class or should we drop it on him? Like, you have two choices. You get up and leave. That's my understanding of what happened. And that was a distinct moment where it was like I remember at that point, a lot of people were dropping. I think they just like were hounding people. Like they knew who was going to like work, who was going to fit and who wasn't. And it was clear at that point, like there was a handful of people that like weren't meant to be there or who weren't meant to be in law enforcement out in the field. Like they're going to get themselves hurt or somebody else. And like the instructors did a very good job of knowing who those people were.
Yeah. Once they get their eyes on you,
yeah,
they're going to make you quit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think those characteristics are that they look for that you can tell like someone's a quitter or that they're not going to be a good servant for the public?
Some characteristics, I would say there was a lot of people who were like disorganized and like could not make a change where they would experience a problem. Like we'd all make mistakes, like Penal Code 15, Law Enforcement Code Access, first paragraph, give me the third paragraph. And they would like throw these things at you and like, okay, you're going to make a mistake. But like if you constantly make those same mistakes day after day after day and you're not getting it, I think the characteristic is like, one, do you care enough to go home and like apply yourself and recognize, hey, I'm making these mistakes. It's clear to everybody around me. It should be clear to you. If you can't improve and like correct those mistakes, then do you even respect, like, are you actually taking this serious? Or two, like, do you actually care to get better? And I think anywhere from like memorizing a paragraph, you could apply that to, do you care for your physical fitness? Do you care for learning the penal codes? Do you care about serving the community? Like something so small. If you can't do something so small right, can you do the big things right? The things that matter. I think that was a big thing that I recognized. People were just disorganized, like couldn't follow instructions. If they told you like, don't do this, don't park in this parking lot, and somebody did, like, okay, can you follow instructions or not? I mean, what's going on? I think those were some pretty clear ones for me.
Was there people that stuck out that they just couldn't handle the pressure? They couldn't handle themselves under pressure?
Oh, for sure. I think that was the biggest thing for me too, was like that sense of like peace. I could control my heart. My heart rate I could control it. under that stress. Like there would be times where they make me go run, and sure, my heart rate's going to increase. But it got to a point where like I did have 4 drill instructors yelling at me. I had to be locked in at attention, and it was just like I'm zoned in, like I'm locked in. I'm in the zone. Other people would just crack, like they couldn't. They just would get all over the place. Like you could see like their mind, the hamster wheels spinning, and like they just couldn't handle that pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely gets to some people. How'd you guys do for like you guys do like OC days and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, OC, taser. Man, those were fun days. Like,
You know what's funny is like you say those are the fun days and those are the shittiest days, but they
Yeah.
are the fun. Like I think about my whole academy and the whole thing sucked. But
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, we did have fun.
the taser, like they came in and were like, "Hey, you guys are about to be officers. We want you to be like locked in. Like, don't be screaming, don't be grunting. Like, show some professionalism here. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into." Gave us this whole pep talk. Like the president of like the academy was there. All like everybody was watching us. You know, it's like entertainment. These guys are about to like get tased, and the first guy who goes up, they tase him, and he just screams like insane, and everyone's like literally trying not to laugh. Like, and he was like, he didn't do it. He couldn't control himself.
Yeah.
And he just let loose, and it was like, dude, they literally just told you not to do that, and you did that. So I tried to not make any noise, and like, I don't know if I still have the video, but I remember watching it, and I was like, I'm pretty proud of myself because I didn't make any noise. My body was locked, but I wasn't going to be the one to make noise. I don't want to be that guy. And then same thing with OC, like somebody volunteered to go first, and then when it was time to like go, they were like, "No, I don't want to go first anymore." So like, okay, well, someone's got to go first, and everybody just kind of stood around looking at each other, and I'm like, "All right, I'll do it." And I remember it not affecting me. Like they sprayed me, and I was fine. But the first person who went had to dunk their head in a bucket of water to like prove a point. Like, hey, the water doesn't help. Like the only thing that helps is keeping your eyes open, like air it out. So I remember walking around for a little while, like, all right. And as soon as I dunked my head in the water,
Reactivated?
No, it activated hard. Like I remember just drooling and like being a sloppy mess, like a soup sandwich, man. That's what I was.
Would you guys get sprayed with like a streamer or like a Mark 9 or
I don't know. It was just one of those cans.
just a small one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a Mark 4?
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, it hit me hard. Took a shower, reactivated in the shower.
Those are the worst, is the shower afterwards.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Everybody's in the shower screaming like, "Oh, I got it again." And it's like, those were fun times. I look back on it, and I don't know if I would do it again now. Maybe I would if I had to, but it was fun. It was a fun experience.
So back in 2018, I worked in a close custody unit at the prison, and my corporal asked me, "Hey, can you come help me with this cell?" I think it was tier 2, cell 14. I know it really good, but he's like, they're both on electronics restriction. They both got DORs. We need to go in there. We'll put them in the showers, and then we'll take all their electronics, and then we'll put it back in. Can you come help me? You get the top bunk, I'll get the bottom bunk. We'll get it there real quick. Cool. So I go in there. I hop on the top bunk, and I'm taking all the guys' electronics from his little shelf over here, like his TV, his alarm clock, everything. Like, we'll put it in a box over here, and then we'll take it out. And I was like, "Hey, Walton, watch this. I'm going to jump off this top bunk. I'm going to break my ankles, and then I'm going to be off work for a while." He's like, "Matt, don't say that. Don't be stupid." And I was like, "All right." I was like, "I'm done up here. I'm going to get down." So I have my Mark 9, like a bear canister, right, of OC.
Yeah.
And I have my own holster because I didn't want to have to keep checking one out every day. So I bought my own. And instead of the holster going over the top of the can, it just goes over the body of the can. And it's really in there snug. So you can't just pull it out. But if you also needed to just like hip fire someone, you could.
Right.
So I go to jump off, and the the handle's facing backwards. So when I go, there's like a little lip that holds their mattress on. It hooks on the top of that lip. And I go, my body goes. The canister stays in my holster, but the top pops off. It's a brand new Mark 9, and me and my corporal are in the cell. So there is a brand new Mark 9 all over my body, my face. It goes all over the whole cell. My corporal is just doused in it too. He goes out the front of the door. I go out the back. I call my radio. I'm like, I need the back. I'm going out the rec door. I need some air. They're like, what's going on? And then they figure it out. And I felt really bad for the 2 inmates too, because they were directly outside of their door in the showers, locked in there. And they're like starting to cough and stuff too. Just like, it gets in the air, like a level 3.
Right.
But then all of the air for each cell is like connected.
Oh.
So then it goes into the air, and it is just a huge mess, dude. And then they were still on electronic restriction. I felt so bad, but we had to take all their electronics. Then they had to buy them all new clothes because all their clothes is just doused.
Yeah.
Luckily, like, they were cool about it. They didn't hate me too bad, right? And everybody just laughed at me for a long time. But then when I went through the CERT Academy, I volunteered to go first because you had to get sprayed with a Mark 9. And I was like, I've already done this before.
Yeah.
I know that I want to get it done first because I want to have the most time without it on my face, right?
Right.
So I go through, and then they told us too, they're like, when you get sprayed, we need to make sure you don't do your partner dirty and don't just give him a half spray, because if you do, we're going to have to redo it again. So you had to partner up, right? So,
yeah.
So another guy, he sprays me, does me dirty, only does like a half one. They're like, I don't know if that was enough. I was like, just spray me again.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference. Just spray me again.
Right.
So they spray me again. I go through the course and everything. And then they only gave us like 10 seconds at this little fountain. And the drill instructors are like yelling at you at the fountain. And they're like, that's it. That's time. They tell you to go walk, right?
Right.
And then they just give you paper towels and you have to like blot your face. And then, so everybody goes through that. I get like 20 minutes to decon. And then it's his turn. And I sprayed him good. Make sure, it doesn't matter. Like, spray him good, right? And then he goes through and everything. But there was this one dude in our academy, and he was psyching himself out. He was like, I can't do a Mark 9, guys. I can't do a Mark 9. And we're like, dude, it's honestly no different than a Mark 4, just a lot more volume. Yeah. But like, burning is burning, right? He's all kind of like psyching himself out. We're trying to talk to him and everything. I felt so bad for him because it's his turn to get sprayed. His partner does him dirty, sprays him a little bit. And they're like, was that enough? He's like, I can't see, like just really selling it, right? And he's like, no, that's enough. I promise that was enough. And then just like, the instructor running, he's like, I don't think it is. And he's like just arguing kind of back and forth. So the instructor just grabs a brand new one, just like,
just drenches him.
He's like, you're good, go ahead.
Yeah. If you're going to spray me.
He goes through the course, does everything like everybody else has to. And then a decon for like 20 minutes. Then the drill instructors get us all, they tell us go on the lawn. And this is just like a little range house in the middle of the desert. So there's no wind at all. Right. And it's the middle of a summer, man. It was hot. But the drill instructors get everybody on the lawn. We're doing like push-ups, everything like so now you're starting to sweat again. And so it's reactivating.
Yeah.
And then they're like, once you can't do push-ups anymore, they flip you over, you do flutter kicks, you do whatever, air squats, they just make you go.
Yeah.
And then they put you back on your back, and then one of the drill instructors just grabs a hose and just starts spraying you guys in the face. And then it reactivates really good.
While you're on your back still?
While you're on your backs, just flutter kicking. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's some other stuff that happens. I won't sell it for everybody. I'll save that surprise. But then you get back to the barracks, and the dude quits. Like as soon as he gets off the bus.
The guy who just psyched himself out?
Yeah.
And he got through
and he
all
just
that?
quit. Yeah, after that. I was like, dude, you still have to like... We just had to get to the chow hall, and then we had to eat dinner, and then probably get smoked a little bit more after dinner. We got smoked a little bit after the bus right there. You just had to crawl. They made us crawl, like army crawl to the chow hall. It wasn't terrible. I mean, your eyes were still deactivating, but I was like, oh man, I felt so bad for that dude.
Yeah.
And they just quit right then and there. I'm like, and I seen him later on that night, and you could just tell like his soul was drained. Like it just
he was defeated.
Yeah.
It broke him.
Because you still had to reactivate like everybody else. You still had to take a shower and everything. And I'm like, oh, man.
Plus, then like the next day, too, there was some regret that you didn't see, but I'm sure he probably felt some regret.
Dude, regret? I've really lived with regret lately. Like I don't want to live with regret. Like when
Yeah,
things get hard now, like we're both in a business ownership, but like I don't want to look back and like have regrets anymore. So
for
I'm like,
sure.
but anyway, yeah. So it was like, but for me, I think the worst. So the OC day, because of my previous experiences, I was like, I can handle this, and that was the whole point of the academy. Is like they put you through all this hell because now you know that like you can keep going once you've been exposed to these things. You can fight through it. So it's.
Yep.
But in the moment, you're like, why do we have to go through this, right?
Yep.
But they'll put you through the worst. I think for me, the worst part was like the tear gas.
We did tear gas too, and like, yeah, armpits, and like I remember a dude who like shaved like his arms and his legs, like he shaved everywhere. Next thing you know, like his whole body, he was squirming. That one I was a little worried about because I had asthma as a kid, so I was like, okay, I gotta take the mask off and like clear it, and like yell, and like yeah, it sucked, but I think you're right. Like it gave me that mental ability to be like, this sucks, embrace the suck, and just adapt and get through it. That was like the biggest takeaway. Like even though I'm not in law enforcement anymore, there's that experience I still look back on and go, dude, you did push-ups till your triceps literally could not pick you up anymore. You climbed, you ran this hill, you did all these different things. You can get through it. Just embrace it. Like adapt, get over it, keep pushing.
Yeah, that was the whole point of that academy. Was they're just like, it doesn't matter if you can do 50 push-ups or you can do 100 push-ups. They're gonna make you do enough push-ups until you can't, and they want to see that you can still keep fighting, even if you're only getting a half push-up, but you're not just quitting. That's what their whole thing was just like, they want people on their team that have their back and know that even when it's tough, you can still keep going.
I remember doing those push-ups. I remember like my arms fatigued. Like I literally could not pick myself up. And I think I made a slight little grunt, and one of the drill instructors looked at me and was like, "Shut up!" And I'm like, "Dang, man, I just did like 125 push-ups, whatever it was." Like I he just yelled at me, "Shut up!" I'm like, "All right, cool. What's next?" And yeah, it was a fun experience.
Yeah, that same day that we had the OC, that morning we had a log carry, and that was like a team of 6 people on each log, and it was probably I want to say like it was close to like a mile, and it's like slightly uphill the whole way.
Yeah.
And that was our team just fell apart, man. There was one guy that was like shorter than a bunch of the rest of us, so he wasn't really doing too much work. So that's really only like 5 people. The one dude got the log dropped and it like hit right on his hip, and he already had like operations before on his hip. So then he got out because he got injured. So now we're down more people, and then I got the log dropped directly on my toe, and then I was out. Like they're like, "Do you want to go see medical?" And I was like, "It's just a toe, dude.
Yeah.
Like I can't. Like what are they gonna do?" Like so I limped the whole rest of the way. But then it was kind of cool because one of the head drill instructor pulls me aside after that whole rotation was done, and he's like just serious, not like in his drill instructor voice, but like, "Hey, are you okay?" Like
Yeah.
like just pulled me aside. He's like, "I like to see that you didn't quit. Like keep it up, get back in." And then like was serious again, but like for that split second, you could tell he was a human.
Right.
It was just kind of cool. Like it kept you going, and then like just knowing that someone cared at that moment, it was just kind of cool.
Yeah.
Cool moment. Like because I was like really like, I don't know, this is gonna suck. Yeah, dude, my whole big toe like it went black and blue. I lost my toenail like a couple weeks later. It fell off. But,
Yeah, you're like, I'm not dropping off because
yeah,
my
it was
toenail.
like, and really, I would have never got another opportunity. That was like in my 9th year working in the prisons, and then this last summer they didn't have the funds to run that academy. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it was just cool. One of those like hard times that you can just look back on and be like, man, that really sucked, but that was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good experience. I don't regret it. Or not regret, but like I wouldn't change a thing about it. Like that shaped and molded me in a way that it was just a good experience.
So what'd you do after you graduated from the academy? What was your first post? You go straight to patrol, or?
Yeah, they put me, so then like the academy was an intermix of different cities. And once we all graduated, we all went to our cities, went on field training. And my first phase was working downtown, like in the bars. And that was really fun. Like I was like, okay, this is exciting. We're going to get bar fights. And I remember walking into different bars with my baton and like going like, too. Like, we're gonna scrap with these guys, and it was cool. We never really scrapped, but like we just had that command presence to where like once we walked in, things dispersed. But that was cool because it was a little light. It wasn't like, I have to learn the maps and I got to learn, like, I was still studying that stuff, but I wasn't like I had to actively apply. Like, I just had a little tiny square of downtown. That was my first phase. Then I moved throughout different phases. One night, like, one distinct thing I remember, just like there was a lot of unspoken rules like in the department. It was real old school, like back to the wall, get out of the way for your senior officers, like say by your leave and all these different things, and one night, like, I think the sergeant asked us, like, hey, we got this package, like somebody dropped it off at the station. Can you guys return it? It's like probably stolen, like somebody probably porch pirated this thing, but like it's here at the department now. Can you return it? And like all night we had tried to like drop this package off, and it was just busy. Calls for service were coming in, and we went back like 3 times. Call for service, like priority call. While we got out, there was one time we got out, went to go drop this package off. I remember like walking behind the patrol car. Next thing you know, like shots ring out, and I'm like, what? I don't even know where these came from. It's like literally right here in front of me. Am I getting shot at right now? Like, what is going on? Ended up like dumping the package and chasing after this car that was shooting, like literally right in front of us. It turns out they weren't shooting at us. It was 2 pimps shooting at each other across the street. But like, I'm thinking like, dude, like I'm in a black and white, I'm in a uniform. Like, I don't know if I'm getting shot at. Sounds like it. I remember like taking cover behind the back hatch of the car and looking out, and the next thing I see them running, jump in the car, boom, we're in pursuit. And that was like, yeah, let's go. Like cowboy up, let's chase these dudes. I ended up losing them. I was like the first guy, obviously, to see them. They were just dipping alleys, and like I lost them. Everybody started coming, like set up a containment. Boom, we pick them up. It's like a 5-city pursuit. They're throwing guns out the window, and I'm like, yeah, man, like this is cool. And that was like the first thing for me where I was like, I'm in it, man. Like I'm a cop, dude. Like I'm not just taking paper and like taking theft reports. Like I'm a cop, man. Like I'm a cop.
Yeah.
So that was a cool thing for me. And yeah.
That's cool, man. It's not like 21 Jump Street where you're just on your bicycle, just going through the park. Like
No.
you're in it.
No, it was like so busy. Like we would go to like a theft report, and we would get dispatched to priorities. Like I remember going in on I think we worked 410s. I remember going in on my first day of that shift, going to a theft report, and that theft report was still there on my 4th day. Like because the priorities would come up, like shooting now, homicide here. Like it was busy. Like there was a lot of stuff going on. I remember going to shootings of dudes being shot in the alley, and we're applying, CPR and packing them like gunshot wounds, and they're getting loaded up, and like there was a lot of stuff going on, and it was fun, but it was like in the moment it was a lot. I was like, this is the first time I've seen somebody with a gunshot. This is a new thing for me. So it was just a different thing. Like the academy prepared me for stress and prepared me for all these other things, but it didn't, like, you can't learn that unless you go out in the field. Yeah. It's just a different side of things.
How did what was I gonna say? Yeah, how was it like, getting into, seeing people shot, and like how, yeah, I don't even know how you can't prepare for that. Like how does that play on your psyche? Like do you start getting desensitized to things?
Yeah, like I started, and this isn't to like talk bad about the other guys in the department, but I just noticed like a lot of guys were salt dogs, man. They were like callous to things. Like you couldn't move them. Like their face was just like no emotion, and like they've seen a lot of stuff, a lot of calls, a lot of years. Those guys been there 20, 30 years on patrol. Like they're old salt dogs. And that was a weird thing for me. I'm like, dude, I'm just this kid who was in Boy Scouts and all these different, it was just a new experience for me. And I think each time it was like, all right, stack that experience to get better for the next one. There was one point though where like I moved in, I don't remember which phase I was in. It might have been like my last phase. And I was like, I don't remember, like, I still don't know how like my mind went to this, but there was a point of me where I was like, I had to quit. And like, I didn't ever want to quit. Like, I joined through this academy. I always had that mindset of like not quitting. Right. And I remember like sitting down with my wife at a restaurant and like, I felt such a strong calling to like leave, but I didn't know why. Like, I still have a hard time like interpreting why. Like this quit mentality, I've never had it. I've never wanted to quit anything. And I was like broken down, just like, dude, I have to quit. But I just went through the academy. I was at the top of my thing. I'm doing well in FTO. But like I felt such a strong calling to leave. And I was like, dude, I don't know why. Like this is weird. So I reached out to like my training staff and they're like, dude, let's come in, let's talk with you, command staff, all this stuff. And I was like, not necessarily beating around the bush, but like I didn't want to quit. But then like I remember sitting there and looking at all of them and they're like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I drew a line in the sand. I was like, I'm gonna resign for no reason at all. Like,
How long into your career was this?
I was still in training, like right at the end of my training. I was about to go out on my own. I wasn't far from that.
Oh, like you were on the job training kind of thing?
Yeah, like field training. There was different phases.
Yeah.
And they're like, why? And I was like, dude, like, I don't know, but like my gut is telling me to like do this. And like I just had always followed my gut. If my gut's telling me, like I have to follow it. And I just drew a line in the sand and followed it. And like they still were like asking for questions, why, and like wanted like feedback. And I was like, man, guys, I can't articulate this. I don't know why. My gut's telling me. I'm following that. And like I kind of left with unanswered questions. And I remember people like reaching out to me like, dude, I heard you left. What happened? You know, people started thinking like, I don't really know what people started thinking, but I know people were calling me like, you know, just you hear stories, people like, you know, they stole or they slept with the victim, like all these different things where people like would resign.
Right.
You
it was
know,
either resign or get fired kind
pretty
of.
much. And people were like, did you resign just to like not get fired for something? People from the academy were calling me. I'm like, no, like I just left. And looking back on it now, everything happened for like the exact reason. It's insane how it worked out. But in the moment, I was so fogged by like, I don't understand this because I'm not a quitter, but my gut's telling me to walk. And I know it looks like I'm a quitter. And I didn't understand that in the moment, but I left and I followed my gut. The weird thing that I wrestle with is a couple of days after that, they put somebody else in my seat with my FTO on my shift. And a couple of days after that, he got shot and was killed on a call for service.
Wow.
And like, I don't know. I can't say like that might have been me, could have been me. Like there's a whole lot of what if, could have. And I don't want to like be a Monday morning quarterback or anything like that. But it was just like, dude, my gut told me to quit and then this happened. I still can't explain it. It's hard to like put into words. But I remember like going to the funeral. I wasn't in uniform anymore. All those guys looked at me as a quitter. And it was just like a punch to the gut. It was like, man, this is a weird thing. Like I knew this guy, you know, and like now I'm looking at his wife and he's dead. Like he's not around anymore. So it's just a weird thing and I still wrestle with it. And it's like, it's just hard to explain. Like that's, my gut told me to do this and then this happened. I don't know if it's coincidence. I don't know what it is, but like just a weird experience that I still wrestle with.
Yeah, that's a crazy experience, man. I can't imagine, you know, going through that thought and then second guessing yourself of am I making the right decision? Am I not on quitting? And then,
yeah,
like you're the person that you were working with, right? That person gets, or that spot gets filled, and then that's
Yeah, it's a heavy one. It's a tough one to wrestle with.
and then to have people like look at you like you're a quitter is like, how do you explain that you just had this?
I just stayed honest. Like people asked me what happened, and I just stayed honest with them and was like, I didn't do anything wrong, but like my gut told me to do this. What's crazy is after that, one of the drill sergeants reached out to me from the academy. He had heard through the grapevine what happened. And the department he worked for, he was an active officer, was looking for, like, there was positions open. And that was the department, like, I originally had wanted. That was, like, Glendora. That was, like, where I was born. That's where I was in scouts. Like, that was my community. And, like, that was the first place I applied. And, like, the next day, I got an email saying positions were filled. So I was like, okay, well, now let's shotgun these to these other departments. Got picked up. But, like, I used to think it was a coincidence. Like, okay, now this head drill instructor saw me at the academy, knew I was stored away. He started asking me. I just laid it out for him, like, hey, here's my honesty. I'm not lying about anything. And I straight up just told him, Glendora is where I wanted to work. Like, this is my number one spot. Like, I didn't quit Pomona to go to Glendora, but, like, things fell into play. And I went and did a ride along there and got fast tracked because I just got through the academy. Like, I was all, like, a lot of boxes were already checked for them. I was kind of like, I don't want to put myself on a pedestal, but probably an easy hire for them compared to somebody who's never even, like, done this.
Yeah.
Almost like a gray area of a lateral to, like, you know, out of the academy. It was like in this gray area, and they picked me up fast, and I loved every second of it. Like, it was one of the best things getting picked up there. I had friends, a buddy from high school, him and I were in a law enforcement class together, and, like, just things were working out really, really good there. It was one of those things, like, previously I used to think it was coincidental. Now I'm like, I don't believe in coincidences. I think it comes from God. And that's really hard to wrap my head around, but it just all fell into place so perfectly that you could not plan something like that to happen. There's too many moving parts, too many levers were pulled from myself to, like, outside third party. Like, it's just, you couldn't align the stars any better. And if I fell right into where I needed to be, it was a cool thing.
Yeah. No, that's that coincidence thing, man. I've had a couple people on here, and I said this was right as I was starting my walk in faith, and I was like, I don't know. I just had. They're like, why'd you start going to church? And I was like, I just had too many coincidences start happening, and I was like, oh, maybe I should look into it. And he's like, no, there's no such thing as coincidence.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, one of the biggest coincidences that I had in my life, that not a coincidence, but, like, my dad and I, long story short, I had this abusive stepmom when I was a kid, right? From, like, second grade to, like, ninth grade. She was really abusive to me, had a whole bunch of stuff. I'll go into that, like, another time. That'll take a whole podcast itself. But anyway, so I swept all that abuse under the rug when I was an adult, and I didn't want to talk about it anymore. But it started creeping in, like, little areas, and I would just shut it down, right? So fast forward, I don't see my stepmom for years, anything. Just kind of let it go. My dad and I are hunting up in the Trinities, and I said, let's go out to this one point. I want to go and check this out, just glass real quick, send out a couple bugles, see what I can hear, whatever. So I go to the end, and there's this truck, and I was like, damn it, there's already a dude here, right? He's just chilling and looking out over the edge too. And he's really, like, short shorts, just like runner shorts or something, glass into. I was like, all right, let's just go say hi to this guy or whatever. Or he sees us and we say hi, meet, talk. Come to find out, this dude, the same area that we're from, he's in law enforcement. He's a probation parole officer. I'm in the prison, so it's still under the same whatever, corrections, right? And so we just start talking and everything. Anyway, we became friends and just like kind of talked over the time, like, hey, let's go hunting if you want to go. Like, I think we went out a couple of times during that season, stayed in contact, kind of became friends with his family, and we kind of just like watched football together and everything. Ended up getting the next year I got invited to his wedding. And so I go to his wedding, and I met his wife a couple times before that, but I went to the wedding, and my wife and I go, and so we're looking back, like waiting for the bride to come out, right? And so it's an outdoor wedding. Luckily, it was like really quick because it was like 110 degrees. I was crazy hot, so they made it really quick. But we look back, and there's a parking lot right next to where this barn is at. And I start looking, and I see this one chick, and she starts walking, and I realize it was my stepmom from like years before, right? And I just started like freaking out. I was like, "What?" Like, I'm just getting so angry and stuff. And my wife's like, "What's up?" And I was like, "It's my stepmom," like going crazy, right? And then she's like, "Are you okay?" And I had a mentor at that time, so I had to. Once the wedding was over, I went to the car, called my mentor, and I was like, "Dude." Oh, the day before that, I had a meeting with my mentor, and he's like, "Before we can move on anymore in your life, like we need to figure out what's like to get you more successful in life. We need to figure out like if there's anything from your past that's gonna come up and like block you." And he's like, "You've talked a little bit about your stepmom before, but like let's dive deep into it." I was like, "Nah, dude, that's under the rug. Like it's not gonna happen."
Yeah.
Like wait, I'm over it, right? And the very next day is that wedding, and she pops up, and I'm like, so I'm calling him. I'm like, "Dude, what do I do?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, it's up to you, man. Like, you can make a scene if you want, or you can and let her know like you've been thinking about her this whole time or whatever, or you could just let it go." And like, I was like, this is like that the buffalo and the cow situation, right? Like, you can run towards a storm, you can run away, but it's gonna catch up with you either way. And it was just like, so I go up to my buddy and I was like, "Dude, how do you know that chick?" And I pointed over to my stepmom. He's like, "Oh, my wife's been doing her hair for years." And I was like, remember I told him like a little bit. I was like, "Remember my stepmom told you that was like abusive and stuff?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "That was like, that's her." He's like, "Dude, I'm sorry. I had no clue." Like, whatever, right? I was like, no, it's cool, right? But I was like, that was like the point in my life where I was like, okay, like this is too crazy of a coincidence that like I obviously have to face this because it's been bugging me, I guess, right? And then at that point, I was like, how do you meet a random dude in the middle of the woods, like middle of the freaking woods, and he's like your key to moving on?
Yeah, you can't make the stars align. Like, that's not a coincidence.
Yeah, it was nuts.
That's insane.
Yeah. And then even make it deeper is like, they were like on coaching little league baseballs with like my stepbrother from before too. And I was like, so there was like a whole connection, and I'm like in the middle of the woods and I meet this one dude.
And nobody knows. Like, you don't know. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
His wife doesn't know. She doesn't know. Like, nobody knows. And like, here we are all facing it right now. And it's like, it's hard. It's hard even to put into words. It's like, what is going on here? This is insane.
Yeah. So at that point I was like, all right. And I had not been believing in God in like since I was 14 maybe, and I just turned maybe 30 or something when that happened. So I was like, this is nuts, man.
For sure.
So like coincidences do not happen.
No.
It's definitely a plan, and that's like my biggest testimony. I can ever say like there's no such thing as coincidences. Yeah. But anyway, so you get on with that other county.
Yeah. Man, just fell right in the pocket. Like, that's where I needed to be. I was there selling. I got through FTO very quick. First phase, like, I remember found a gun in a car. I know we're in Idaho and everybody has guns, but in California, nobody has guns unless you're like up to no good. And like right away, people were like, all right, this dude's squared away. So I just created a really good reputation, like a really good name for myself. And it was a smaller department, so word traveled fast. Same thing. Like, they knew if you were going to make it or not. And I made it, and I hate to talk about myself in like a boastful way, but I just really excelled. I was like chasing bad guys and doing like having fun, like what I really wanted to do. I was hooking and booking, getting in pursuits and like being really proactive and finding people that like needed to go to jail. And remember like calls for service, like I guess it'd be an armed residential burglary. And then like knowing, like I was very involved in who had warrants, who was in and out of the city, what cars were dirty. And like, I just knew a lot of stuff and like really encased my job as a police officer to like help people. And even wasn't a call for service. Like I was doing stuff in the community to like bring people in that shouldn't be out. You know, if they have a warrant and they're on the run and it's a good like felony warrant, I was hooking and booking anybody I could. And people knew like when I got on the radio and I pulled traffic and I did things, like there's a very good chance like it's a good call. Like I'm not just pulling grandma over on her way back from Albertsons. Like I'm looking for stuff. I'm trying to get in the dirt. I want to roll around and like have fun. This is what I signed up for. Like, let's turn the sirens on. Let's chase people. Let's pull guns out. Like, let's do my job. And I had a lot of fun. I was getting into like the canine program. I was a canine agitator, working with dogs. Like my goal was to be a canine officer, and I was what I felt like next in line to do that. Got into, they didn't call it major crimes. It was called like CIT, but basically it was like you worked hand in hand. Like it was the next stepping stone to being a detective. You helped the detectives with things that they had going on. I got in charge of putting on different assignments for like chasing people stealing catalytic converters. I do undercover stuff, working in UC cars, setting up like surveillance and just doing cool stuff. Like I had a lot setting up like bait bites, bait cars, working with I don't remember the name of whatever it was, but we were setting up like bait cars so people would come steal stuff. I just doing cool stuff, man. And I had a lot of fun. It was right where I needed to be. It was like I don't know how the command staff felt about me, but it seemed like I was moving up quickly and like making a name for myself. And there was no ceiling. If I wanted to put in for a detective, if I wanted to put in for canine, if I wanted to put in for FTO, whatever it was, like, not to make my ego sound like I'm perfect, but I was moving up very fast. Like I was excelling there. And it was fun. I had a good time. And it was like right in the middle, same thing. We had like BLM riots come through our city. And I remember like just a change. People like were already telling me that there was a change from when I came on, from when they came on, people like with some seniority and going like, man, you should have been in here 5 years ago. We were chasing down dope. We were doing all this stuff. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm still doing that. I'm hooking and booking. They're like, yeah, but DAs aren't filing charges and stuff like that.
From like overcrowding in jails and stuff or what?
Yeah. I mean, like we would chase people for stolen cars. We'd arrest them, get them, take them to the station, write them a citation. You could not hold them. You'd write them a ticket, no different than if you ran a red light, except you just go to the station and you did a booking photo and a ticket for a court date. You release them. There was a guy we arrested 3 times. He stole a car 3 times on the same shift. It was like, I'm not even done with the booking sheet, and this dude's already stealing another car. So it was like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm risking my life, potentially going to get hurt here.
For a ticket. For
a ticket that this dude's not going to go to court, turn into a warrant. Somebody else is going to hook him. Like, what am I doing? And then not only that, we started to get some pushback from command staff. It was like, hey, quit being proactive. I got told that. Like, I was like, I don't want to sit under a tree. Like, I didn't sign up to sit in a police car and watch Star Wars or whatever. Like, we were doing that. It got to a point of like, I'm not having fun anymore. You know, like I don't want to sit under a tree or sit in a parking garage for 12 hours and just respond to calls for service. I understand there's a time and place for that. And like, I'm not going to go against the grain, but when that becomes like our mission, I don't have a purpose anymore. and like I need that purpose. So I'd still chase it. And it was like, what am I doing this for? You know, like my wife's grandparents lived in the city I worked in. I remember they called, I saw their address pop up for the call for service, and it's his work trailer got stolen. It's like, dude, not only is this like my wife's grandparents, like I'd do this for anybody. I want to go find that guy. Sure enough, we found him. But like when I can't do that anymore, it's like, no, I didn't do that just because it's a family member. There was a point of me where it's like, yeah, we're finding that trailer. But it's just like my purpose, my mission was gone. And we were sitting under trees and sitting in parking garages playing Call of Duty and just doing different stuff. And I'm like, this is cool. Like I'm getting paid, but like, I want more. Like this is what I signed up for. And it was like right in the middle of COVID. We had a lot of stuff going on with COVID, with the DAs not filing charges, tickets being stolen car and you get a ticket, you're out. It's like, dude, this guy might have a gun. I might get shot and not be able to go home and see my wife. It's like, guys would say, like, how hard am I going to try finding this dude? You know, like, is it worth getting stabbed or shot at over
a ticket?
Or like a cite and release or like property from Home Depot or whatever? It's like, what are we doing this for, dude? Like, why?
In California, they have that law that you can't arrest someone if they steal from a store either, right? It's like,
yeah, it was $950. Anything under that, it's a misdemeanor. And then it got to like the misdemeanor was a cite and release. You give the property back, private person's arrest, let them go.
Yeah.
And even after that, if it was $2,000 they stole, or repeat offenders, like they just stole today and then go back at 4 p.m. and steal again, and it could be $1,500 worth of stuff, you're still just taking them to jail. And actually it got to a point where we wouldn't even take them to jail anymore. We just detain them right there in the parking lot. Here's your ticket, gone for a felony. And it was like, dude, really? Like, oh, I'm just going to wait till the call. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to haul over there and like find this dude. Like, why don't I just take my sweet daisy little time? Dude's gone. GOA, take the report. Yeah, like it's a lot easier for me. And it was just like, man, frustrating. I want to do cool stuff. Like, but it was a mixture of, it wasn't just the department. It wasn't like command staff. It was society at the moment, COVID, the DAs weren't filing things. We had Gascon was backed by Santos or George Soros. So like, you just had DAs coming in that they didn't want to do nothing. They were telling victims, like families of victims who had like, let's say their son or like somebody had been murdered. They were just like kissing it off, just like move on basically. It's like, no, dude, like that family wants some justice. Like, let's find this dude, let's prosecute him and have some accountability in society. And that wasn't happening. So that was anything from a small theft to like, there was some bigger cases like child, like sex crimes and stuff like that, that happened that were cool cases. But there was just a lot of, the mission was gone for me. And it was right in the middle of COVID. We just weren't, there was that whole thing, like we couldn't, it was the 2 weeks to stop the spread. And like I was getting sent home, like people were getting sent home for COVID. And like it just became this huge circus where I was like, man, dude, I don't want to do this no more. My purpose is gone, you know? So we were looking, like I would get sent home. I remember I was on, I had signed up my daughter, like we were having a kid. I had a daughter on the way. And I was just like, I remember driving her home. We had my motor blew in my truck. So that cost me a bunch of money. And I was like, I was just signing up for as much overtime as I could to collect a check. And I was getting sent home. Like they were telling me, oh, you sat within 5 feet of somebody who tested positive for COVID. You got to go. That's our policy. And I'm like, dude, I have no symptoms. And just there was a whole bunch of games going on at work, outside, in society. And I was like, we're going to move to Idaho. And that was another chapter for me, another door that opened. It was like,
Where'd Idaho come from?
My wife's parents have been up here for a long time. We used to always come and visit, and we'd always come and visit, and I always wanted to move, but we never did, as I made that career shift of like, I'm going to be a cop. And here I am excelling. And I heard a lot of firefighters and cops like moving to Idaho. So it was like a thing in that community of like, people are moving here. Let's check it out. So I started looking into it, and I was like, maybe I can replicate like what the fire guys are doing. A lot of them are like moving up here, flying back, working down there, making that money there, coming back, living here, like just a better life for my kids is really what I was chasing. We bought a house in Laverne, and we were just doing stuff, but I'm like, this isn't where I want to raise kids anymore. Like, I'm thinking about schools. You got shootings down the street from my house, like not a bad area. And here we go. What's shootings right here? The park, somebody just got killed, and it's like,
and the police aren't able to do much about it then.
Exactly. And I'm like, I'm in the community of like, I can solve this problem. My hands are tied. I can't do nothing. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to get better. And it's just getting worse. And I'm like, this isn't about me anymore. This is about my daughter who was just born and like where she's going to be 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Like, I'm thinking about schools. I'm thinking about like all of the politics. And I just was like, I got to do something better for my family. Like, this isn't about me anymore. I'm killing it, but this is about them. So I started to try to get like the department to, they had a rule in the policy, you had to live 60 miles from the department. I tried to get them to drop that because a lot of guys that I worked with were like wanting to move out of state. And we pretty much came to them and was like, look, you're going to lose a bunch of guys if we don't change this. And they tried. They like worked with the city manager, like the POA, and at the end of the day, they weren't going to allow it. And I kind of just went against the grain there and was like, I don't really know what's going to happen. I'm in this uncertainty. So I applied out here with Nampa PD and was like, I'm going to use that as like a back pocket kind of thing. If Glendora allows me to commute from Idaho to Glendora, I don't really know the logistics behind it. But if they allow me to do that, yeah, I'm going to take that opportunity. If they don't, like in my back pocket, I know I'm moving to Idaho. And if they don't, then I'll go to Nampa. Sure enough, Nampa hired me. We flew out here, we bought a house, and I was like, told my wife, you move out here. Like, I'm going to help you move. We're going to move all this stuff. I don't really know where I'm going to land yet. And I'm okay with that. I ended up flying back and forth. Like, we bought the house here. I was flying back and forth from here to California to work for a short period of time because they hadn't given me a decision if they were going to change the policy. And then they did tell me, like, no, we're not changing the policy. So then I was like, deuces. Like, Nampa hired me. There's my exit. And that's where that new chapter started there.
Was that the purpose thing? Was that all around once you started having a child?
Yeah.
Was that like you needed to really rethink about your future at that point?
For sure. Like, once I had kids, a primal instinct shifted in my mind. It was like, I got to protect them. I got to provide for them. Like, before it was just, I'm having fun. I'm making killer money. And I'm doing all the things I want. But then once I had kids, it was like a mental shift. Like a light switch just flipped in my mind. Was like, saying about me no more, dude. Like, you got to think about your family. You're a dad. You're a husband. Like, my wife was on board. She wanted to do it too. And I'm like, all right, it changed my mindset significantly.
So you come out here and you get hired on with Nampa then?
Yeah, got on with Nampa. They hired me way early. I worked with them But they put me through another academy. But there was a while I worked with them doing stuff just in the office. Like I had law enforcement experience. I was a lateral. They knew that.
When did you start there?
Man, I don't remember the year. Probably about 4 years ago.
Okay.
But they put me through an academy, and I kind of had the expectations of like, we're going to put you through like a shorter academy to like bring you up to like Idaho code, our maps, like all these different things. But like it was, I'm not dissing Nampa and I'm not dissing their academy, but like I just remember sitting in there and going like, man, this is not like my purpose is not here. Like I'm learning about search and seizure and like 101 stuff. And like, dude, I know this stuff. And I'm like, I got to restart, dude. And I just felt that wasn't the path I was supposed to take. And I was taking a test and same thing again. Like my gut came to me and was like, dude, it probably wasn't my gut now that I think about it. It's like spiritually God telling me this isn't your purpose. But same thing, I was taking a test and I got up, walked in and told him, I'm out. I'm like, what do you mean you're out? You're done? Like, what do you mean? And drew a line in the sand again. I just told him, yes, I'm resigning. I'm going to head home. Here's the gear I have. I'm going to head home. I'm going to grab the rest of that gear, bring it to you guys as long as you're okay with that. And they're like, whoa, we got to like figure this out. I'm like, nah, in my head, I'm done. Like, I'm not in it no more. Like, I'm going to do something different. Like, well, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to figure that out. I don't know what that looks like for tomorrow, but I know it's not this. And nothing against you guys. Like, I actually respect Nampa, their department. All of it is incredible. Like, it was a whole different experience from where I came from. It was a lot of things were better there. But I was just like, my heart's not in it. Like, this is not the path I'm supposed to walk right now. So I walked. And yeah, that was
Did your wife have any idea that you were feeling these feelings? Or was it just like in the moment?
No.
You just like
in the moment.
Just really strong feeling and you went with it?
Really strong feeling.
What was that talk with your wife like when you let her know that you just quit?
I didn't realize it would be hard for her. Like, cause she was like, I didn't communicate that with her. I just knew like in my gut, in my heart, I'm done. I'm out. I'm going to figure something else out. And I just pulled the trigger and left. And I didn't really communicate that at this point with her. The time with Pomona, I did. Like, her and I talked. She supported me, backed me on it. This time, I don't remember like having that distinct talk with her. I just did what I needed to do. And I think it created a lot of confusion and uncertainty for her. Looking back on it, like I could have communicated that a lot better to her. But she supported me. It was the end of the day, it was like, we're a team, we're ride or die. Like, that's your decision. It affects me. It affects our family. But she knew, like, I have always been a go-getter. Like, if I want something, I go get it. I made it happen. Yeah. Like, I don't know what that looks like, but I will figure it out.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. I remember, I think we were talking, but the day that I came home from the gym, it was like in 23, and I just told my wife, I just got done reading the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book.
Yeah.
I was listening to the Audible book, and I came home, and I was like, that book changed my life. I told my wife at that point, and then I was like, 2 years from now, I'm done working at the prison. She's like, Matt, it's 7 a.m, and you're throwing this on me right now?
Yeah.
Like, I thought you were going to retire there, and I was like, nope, I'm done. And yeah, I mean, she was like, okay, I support you. Better start figuring out a plan. But yeah, I think obviously our wives just want a stable place for the family, right? So like to really mix that up and scares them a little bit.
For sure. And I understand that, but I just have like always betted on myself. Yeah. Like I know I can control certain things. Like, I've invested in stocks, I've bought rental properties, I've done all these different things. But at the end of the day, I can control my destiny to an extent. If I want to go and invest and start a company and I want to do this, like, no one's coming. It's up to me. And like, I just had that mentality, burn the boats, figure it out, start making it happen. So I did. I got on the phone, made a phone call to a plumbing company out here. They're like, yeah, you're hired. See you tomorrow. And I'm like, cool. I just got a job over the phone. Like, I just quit a job and I had a job in the parking lot like that. And went and started working for them. And that was a whole new thing, as I hadn't picked up, like, I had done side work for like helping my dad out and stuff like that, but really hadn't like worked back in the plumbing for full time, before law enforcement. Like, when I went to law enforcement, that was all I did. But before that, I worked with my dad for a long time, ran my own trucks, ran my own jobs. Like, I knew the business, or I knew how to plumb. I didn't know the business. I knew a little bit to get myself in, like, I knew enough to get myself into trouble, And that's when I was like, all right, cool. Here's the play. Here's the plan. I'm going to work for this company. In Idaho, I'm required to have a journeyman's license, and I got to have a contractor's license. Here's what it looks like to get that. Step 1, get that. Work for this company, make money, pay my bills. My wife's not freaking out going like, okay, what's going on here? So I did that, got my license, and started figuring things out. This is what my logo is going to look like. Here's how I'm going to price things. Here's the services I'm going to offer. Like, this is what I'm going to do. And it all just started to fall into place. Took my test for my journeyman's, passed that. Was nervous about it. Had to take my written and a practical, passed both of them. Everybody was like giving me all their opinions, like, oh, it's so hard. So-and-so failed it like this. And I'm like, check it out, dude. Like, I know what I'm capable of. Like, I know what I've gone through to this point. I'm going to do this. Like, I don't care if it's hard. Like, what if it was easy, everybody would do it, like, I have no choice. I've burnt the boats. They're out there in port burning. Like, I'm on this island, like, figure it out, dude. And I look back on that, like, my dad really instilled that figure it out mentality into me, which at the time, there's certain moments in my life where I'm like, man, I hated my dad for that. Figure it out. Like, he always told me, figure it out. I'm like, dude, Dad, I know you know the answer to this, and I'm coming to you for some help, and you're telling me figure it out. I would get frustrated. Like, come on, man. And looking back now, I'm like, that's the biggest skill set my dad ever gave me, is figure it out. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of kids and a lot of people I know now that can't figure stuff out, and it's like, I'm grateful for that lesson my dad taught me. I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned.
Yeah. Dude, that's funny, because when I was in my CERT academy, there was this one drill sergeant. She was it was a chick. It was like the only chick that was a drill sergeant. Like, her catchphrase, dude, like, you'd be in the trenches just crawling. They'd be like telling you to do something crazy or what, like, whatever, right? Like, go find something, right? I don't know what it is, but she would just yell at you, figure it out. Like, figure it out, figure it out. And it was just like, I could just hear it right now, dude. Like, the first day we got to that academy, it's like in this dark building, and there's like the maze on the floor, and there's like a flashlight you have to like follow. You can't go off the tape that they have for you. And you're like, they're like, it's dark. There's just a flashlight. You're going offline, whatever. And she's just yelling, figure it out, dude. And it's like, I remember I came home and I told my wife that. And now whenever our kids have something, we always just tell them, like, figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. Right. So like, it's so cool that's what, your dad instilled that in you. 'Cause even now, like with our kids, we're like, figure it out. Like, it's an easy problem, but you need to think about this, right? You need to be able, and even if you make a mistake, like, you need to make your mistakes. All right. Like, if I just give you the answer, that's just robbing you of a learning lesson right now.
Yep. Like, what did you try? Did you try anything?
Yeah.
Like, I might not hand my kids the right answer right off the top. Like, I want to see, what did you try? Did you try to figure something out? If you did, sweet. If you didn't, back to the drawing board. Like if that's as simple as, I don't know, something just super simple, like try something, problem solve in your head, figure something out. And if it gets to the point where I can tell like you're getting worked up, or like, all right, I'm going to be there for you, but I want to see you try, figure something out.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they do, they figure it out. And it's like, you're capable of it. Don't just look for people for answers, and like, don't look to have them solve your problems.
Well, there's so many more learning opportunities in failing than if someone just gives you the answers.
Yeah. Just
Like,
a handout.
Yeah. I think about my time in the prison. Dude, I failed so much. I failed like some miserable failures, but those are the times that I learned the most. And even like starting my own business now, like there's a lot of things that I've tried and I just flopped.
Oh,
And like, but those are what you learn from. Like if you had a success every time, like I think about that too right now. Like I'm going through some struggles in my business and stuff, but I'm like, God's just got to be having like, you know, some good lessons for me right now. I know there's a lesson to be learned in this, and maybe I need to be humbled. Maybe that's why I'm failing right now. I need to be humbled and figure this out. This is, you know, if you're just given everything and it comes so easy, like you're not going to get strength from just getting on the first try. You're not going to get patience from, you know, all these different values you have to get, but like the price to pay to get those values, nobody wants. They just want that value.
yeah. Everybody wants like to stand at the top of the mountain, but it's like the journey to get there. Like I'm not saying I'm at the top of the mountain. Nowhere am I close. Am I trying each day to get better as a husband, as a dad, as a believer in God, as a business owner? Like, yeah, each thing I try to get better each day, but it's like the journey, the process of like, okay, I slipped, I fell, I made a mistake, I learned something, get back up, figure it out, and get better. And that's really all you can, not really all you can do, but like that's a huge, for me, that's something that's been, the process has been cool.
Yeah. So how scary was it for you going from a stable job with the police and then you go to working for a plumbing company to make that leap to go into opening your own thing?
It was scary. I remember calling my dad and telling him, hey, this is my plan. This is what I'm going to do. Like, you got any insight? He's like, dude, you just need a big sack. Like, you need to have some balls and like, just do it. And I'm like, all right, cool. He did it. He's been in business for 30 years. I never saw the struggles, you know, like I saw my dad stress, but I'd see a business owner. I think, oh, they got all these KTM dirt bikes. They got Corvettes. They got all these things. And it's like, that's what I thought I was going to have right off the top. Kind of. Remember, like we filled out our insurance, like what our projected revenue was. My wife and I did. And year one, we blew that out the water. And I was like, dude, I'm going to get rich. Like, I'm going to be balling. You know, I thought, like, this is easy. Like, business owners, like, that's all I had to do. Like, here I am. So there was a scary aspect to it, but it was also like, I'm in control of this. And my ego started to build very quickly. Like I started to see my business exploding, and I thought a lot of it was things I was doing. Like I thought I was in control. And there are things that like obviously I control in the present. But the more and more I go through it, it's like, dude, you're not in control. God's had a purpose from the beginning. When I felt called to leave the first police department and I got moved into the second one, like all these different things, it still relates to me in this time of being a business owner. So there's some discomfort there, but it's also like trusting in my faith.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's one of the biggest lessons I've heard from successful business owners, like watching podcasts or anything, and they say, if you don't have faith, good luck. Because at that point, all you have to do is believe in yourself. And when you don't believe in yourself and you're in the depths, you know, good luck.
Yep.
At least when you're believing in God, like you have a plan, you know that God puts you through trials for a reason, or he might be slowing you down to block what's coming. You know, if he doesn't want you to get hit, so he's going to slow you down or maybe humble you a little bit, right? Like,
Yep.
yeah.
There was a point in me that I got to that point of I'm in control, like that thought of I. I went through 75 hard, and I like was just had this like all gas, no brakes mentality. Like my ego was big. Like I thought I'm in control of all of these things. I'm making this amount of money. I'm getting these jobs. I'm doing all this stuff. And I had to take a step back and just realize like you can still push towards goals, but it's just been a thought of like trust in your faith. Proverbs 19:21 says, man can make many plans, but it's God's purpose that will prevail. And that's been sitting with me heavy for a long time. And it's like, no matter what plans I made, what marketing I do, what customer outreach, what employees I hire, all these things that all these levers I can control, it's God's purpose that's going to prevail. And that's been something that I've had to change my mindset to.
Have you always had a pretty strong walk in faith, or is that something kind of new for you?
Totally new. I grew up a Catholic altar boy, like just going to church as my parents went to church. But recently I've had a huge shift towards faith. I think like a 180 pivot, like of a whole different mindset. It's just a whole different. It's a new thing for me.
What got you to start looking more into that?
I think my daughter, bro, it was like my daughter was having night terrors, and like she'd be screaming and just like weird stuff, night terrors. I still don't know how to describe it. And my brother-in-law mentioned something to me at the gym, was like, hey, when that would happen to me, I'd have a nightmare. My mom would pray with me. And I was like, all right, little light bulb there, like take it for what it is. And I don't really know, man. Like I had burdens. I had a lot of debt in the business. I wasn't happy. And I just had this huge hole in my heart of like, I can't fill this. And it just, each day I felt called towards God, but like resisted it because it was just like whatever to me. And then same thing, I got invited to church over at Rock Harbor, and it was like, hang on, man, there's something here. There's something going on. There's something happening in my life, in my heart, that I can't silence anymore. Like I'm being pulled, I'm being called in this direction. It wasn't just like one night. It wasn't just like one day of flipping that switch, but it was a heavy call to where I was like, man, this is powerful. There's a lot happening here in my life. And each day I've just continued to walk closer towards that. And my faith is, I'm not no perfect person at all in any way, but my faith has been my foundation. And it's like really what I've centered recently. Everything, my business, my family, my marriage, really trying to center that around my faith.
How has things improved, or what complications? I mean, because I know they say too, once you become a Christian, like the bullseye is the target of is the sign of a Christian. Like you feel like you start getting targeted a lot more, or you, I don't know. Like for me, I feel like I got doubt and fear. It creeps in a lot, and
For sure.
but then also just things have got better too. But so it's on both ends.
Yeah. I mean, my life with Jesus has been incredible. It's way better with him in my life than without. I think he's always been there in these different stories that I've shared previously. Like he's always been there. I just wasn't like cognizant of it. But now that I'm like walking in faith, there's been convictions, there's been spiritual attacks. Like I just feel like that fear and that doubt when I surrender those burdens to God, I get a sense of peace. I get wisdom. I get all of these things through Him. And even when I get attacked with different things, it's like trust in Him, surrender it all to Him, and yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to deal with the hard things in life when you have Jesus in your life, because then you feel like there's actually a plan for this, and it's not like, okay, like the end of the world. You're like, okay, you switch it up to more like there's a lesson to be learned here, and like I know there's a purpose, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep going on with this. I'm not gonna quit. I know that it may seem like there's no end to this, or this doesn't have a purpose, but I know that this is going to make me stronger, or there's going to be something to take away from this.
I think each thing has a purpose, like the good, the blessings, and also like the negatives, the valleys.
Mm-hmm.
Like each one of those has a purpose, whether that's like build you up to test your faith, whatever that purpose is, I don't know. And I think it's different for each person. But each one of them has a purpose, and I've become cognizant of what those purposes are. Even in like at the moment, maybe I'm not understanding what that is, but like the more I reflect on it, it's like, oh, okay, like your ego and your pride needed to be checked in this, your lust, your addictions, like whatever your negative, your sin, whatever it is for you. I know what it is for me, and there's a lot of them. It's just beneficial. Like I see it, and my faith has never been stronger than it is at this moment.
Yeah. How do you think it's affected like your business?
I think it's affected it in a good way. There's a lot of customers I see that like are taken advantage of. And not to like talk negatively on other companies, but like there's different customers I know for sure. I've sat down, talked to them, and like I've just done the right thing as if they're my mom, they're my grandma, they're my brother. And like we have to charge what we have to charge to be profitable. We're running a business. But there's a lot of customers that I've gone to their homes, and like we start talking about faith, and I'm like, dude, I'm here. I feel I'm here for you, and like you're here for me through God. Like I don't think it's a coincidence. Like you called me. Like I'm a new company. Like I'm not at the top of all the online platforms and stuff. Like I'm trying. But there's a lot of people that I've sat down with, and like not to use God as like a pedestal to like make my business profitable, but just as a human, like if you were to take the business outside of it, He's always provided. Like even when we were slow, even when I was in a lot of debt, whatever it was, it's like everything's been provided to me. And I used to think that was because of what I was doing. And I don't think it is. I think I'm being provided with the customers that like I need to be provided with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Everybody's coming into your life for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Like not just customers, like you and like other people, like everybody, just things are happening that like you can't control. Like I can't control these things, and like it's just happening. Like how? Well, I think that comes from God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that you were at the river the day I got baptized, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's in another situation where it's like we just started going to Rock Harbor, and my wife was like, "Hey, they're doing river baptisms. You want to go?" And I'm like, "Dude,
Just go to watch. You
just
guys,
go to
yeah,
watch." We weren't
yeah.
even going to be part. We're not a part of the baptism. We just wanted to go to watch, take the kids, like pretty much just get out of the house. And I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, like, dude, I got so much other stuff I could be doing, but she wants to do it. Cool, let's go do it. Let's go watch. Sure enough, we go watch, and like we're just watching all these things, and then I see you down there, and like I didn't know it was you. And then yeah, it's just like, how does that? And now we're sitting here doing a podcast. Like, how does that's not a coincidence? Like, how could you can't make that happen.
So did you just see the Soldiers of the Cross logo on the back, and then you just
Yes.
Facebooked it or something, or?
So I saw you, and then I saw Luke, and he was wearing Soldiers of the Cross. And at the time, I just thought like, it's just a leather cut. Like I didn't think anything of it. And then I was in prayer. I was sitting in the sauna in prayer and in worship, and like I just kept hearing this calling, like Soldiers of the Cross, Soldiers of the Cross, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know what this is, like, but what? It's clear as day. Like I'm not just thinking this, and why would I think this out of random, like,
Yeah.
So then I think, yeah, on Facebook, I like looked you guys up and searched it and was like, oh, they do Bible studies on Thursday? Go to that. And I remember like pulling up my first time in the parking lot and was like, dude, I remember telling my wife, like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but like, here's what I feel called to do. I don't know why, what, how, how can I be disobedient to this calling? Like if God is calling me to do this, I got to go do it. Because otherwise it's like a slap to the face, I felt. But I didn't know why or what. I remember pulling up to the parking lot, I said a prayer, and was like, dude, give me some courage right now, because I'm like walking into this thing I have no idea about. And like I walked in and was like, man, there's some characters in here, and like I don't fit in this room. That's how I felt. I was like, what am I doing here? I'm here, but like, what am I doing here? And as the night went on, I was like, I know exactly why I'm here. This room is on fire. Like these dudes in here are on fire for God. There's some serious wisdom. There's some serious knowledge. And like, I'm still new to this thing, this faith. And I was like, this is just this is not coincidence, man. Like here I am showing courage, stepping into this room that I would never, ever step into. You asked me 15 years ago, would I be in Idaho walking into a tattoo shop for Soldiers of the Cross believing in God? Dude, I would have told you, like, you're out of your mind. And here I am, Yeah.
Sounds like you always had a strong Holy Spirit then. Like you've always had, and you've listened to it. Has there ever been a time that you didn't listen to it and you paid the price? Or like you're like, oh man, I had that feeling I should have backed out or something, and then it didn't go through and you're like, all right. Or have you always just kind of listened to it?
Not that I can distinctly think of, but I thought it was my gut. I thought it was my gut telling me, like, follow your gut. Everybody always says that, follow your gut.
Yeah.
This current point in my life, like, it's not my gut. It's the Spirit, Holy Spirit guiding me through situations with wisdom. And like, I can't think of a negative one off the top of my head. I'm sure there are. But yeah, it's been there and it's been strong, and I'm all in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the idea to start posting on Instagram and stuff? Because I mean, there's not a lot of plumbers that actually have a good, strong like Instagram channel. They might put up a couple things here and there, but I mean, yours is pretty good.
Thank you. Man, like the social media stuff has been like, I started a channel for Volkswagens. I'm a big Volkswagen, like classic bugs, buses, squarebacks, notchbacks, all that stuff. I started a page called Air Cooled Lifestyles in college. Drew that. I don't remember what I drew it to, but somebody reached out to me and like wanted to buy the page, and I was like, "Is this a scam?" And it wasn't. It was legit. They paid me. It was like $3,500. But like at the time, I was like, "Dude, this is cool, man!" Like,
Yeah.
I just sold this page, so I kind of had like some knowledge there, and as socials have like continued to change and adapt, I've always tried different things. I've always tried like a page for fitness. I've tried a page for this stuff, but as I've become a business owner, it's like I got to market my company, and like what can I do that these big guys, not that they can't do it, but I can do it a lot faster. I can turn this boat in a different direction a lot quicker than they can. I'm a small tugboat and they're a big cruise ships. And I was like, socials, dude, pull the camera out, start filming things. Didn't know what I was doing, made a lot of errors, and one post took off. And I was like, whoa, I still don't know what I did on this one, but it hit. And I was like, well, rinse and repeat that. Man, it didn't get as many views, but it was better than what I was doing before. So I just kind of like started duplicating it. I'm like, I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm starting to figure some things out here. And that's kind of where I started. I just like have always just tried different things, and until something works, just like I said, trying to get better each day.
Yeah, dude. It's been really cool. I mean, I've enjoyed watching your stuff pops up like second on my list every time now. Your ads and your regular stuff too. So I mean, it's working. And like I think we were talking one day after Bible study is like people can go to your channel and then kind of already build that trust before you even show up to their house, or if they're searching for someone, they can go and see you talking, and now they pretty much already know you, so then they get on the phone with you.
Yep.
Like you're solid. You're already good to go.
Yep. And that's what I'm trying to do is just like let people know, like, and build that know, like, and trust aspect in a non-sales way, but just like a genuine, like, this is who we are. This is what we do. This is what we stand behind. And like, this is who we serve. And just let as many people know each day and compound that, and it gets bigger. And yeah, I'm starting to see some success with it. It's been cool.
Yeah, dude. What's next for you guys?
Really just trusting in my faith and like praying about not trying to put myself in a position of like my pride and letting like ambition completely consume my life. Just putting my priorities, like structuring my life like this: God, my wife, my children, my business. I forgot myself in there, but that's my priority list. And I think I'm just trying to be led in a direction that God wants me to go. I've been praying to be used as a vessel in whatever way He wants me. And I don't really know if that's growing the business to a huge extent or being a better husband. Like, I don't know what that looks like currently. But I know I will continue to push towards growth in whatever way I am called.
Yeah, I love that, dude. I think that's one thing that I've kind of shifted to is I used to really think about the future, and like once I became a Christian, man, I just stopped because that's not my plans anymore, you know?
Yep.
Like it's good to have aspirations and goals, but to give I can't even give you like a 2-month plan, man. I don't know where I'm going to be in 2 months. I don't know what's going to pop up. Like there's things that just pop up in your life and you think they're coincidences or something, and it's like, no, you're not in control. And I think when we stop trying to be in control is when things start to go right.
Yeah, I always had like those ambitions. I really wanted to have a goal of hitting 5 million in revenue a year. I wanted to be able to take off and go on a trip. My wife and I had a goal of each year we've been married to take off that amount of days. This year we'll be married for 6 years, take off 6 days and go somewhere. Next year, 7, so forth. And that was like a huge thing. When we had that conversation, like in our marriage, I lit up. I was like, dude, I finally have a goal, and I don't even like to travel. I'm not a dude. I don't travel. I'm a homebody. Um, and I still have goals, but I just am not trying to stand in the way of my purpose. Proverbs 19:21. You know, I don't want to make the plans to stand in front of the way of the purpose that I'm being called to. So I'm just trying to be cognizant of where that calling and that purpose leads me. And it's not to say like I'm giving up and rolling over. Like there's still fight in me. Like I'm not quitting or rolling over, but it's just like, let's be cognizant of where God wants me and not where I want me. Don't let that pride and that ego put you in a position that doesn't align you with your purpose that God wants.
Yeah. So as a dad, as a business owner, husband, where does fitness like take a role in your life?
Man, it's crucial. It's like the only thing I do. Like fitness for me, it's the only thing I want to do. My wife knows. Like on the weekends, I'm going to the gym. That's it. That's all I want to do. Like give me 2 hours, lift, sauna, protein, like that. That's crossed off, done. Recently, like I've kind of fallen back to some traits that I've learned in 75 hard of like getting up early and being a dad, letting that time don't take away from my family and get off work and go to the gym and take away from my family and be selfish there. Wake up at 4. Like I don't want people to think like I'm waking up at 4 every day. I'm not, but I'm trying to wake up early and let that time be one, in prayer, eat, hit the gym, and then give it up to my business, my family, and like just starting it off early, front loading it for myself. But fitness has been it. I need it for my mental health. I need it for my body. Like it's crucial.
Is that something that you try and do with your kids too? Like you guys try and be a pretty fit family?
Yeah, for sure. My wife's really fit. I'm fit. That sounds bad, but I'm not like no buff jack dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we try to go out on walks, take the kids out on walks. You know, I'll take them to the park and I'll hit push-ups, and like they see me, they'll jump on my back, and like trying to set the example. You know, I have a daughter. She has to. My role as a father is to set an example for her for when she grows up and who she looks for as a partner. And my son, I have to set an example for him. And I think fitness is a big part of that.
Yeah, I think that's huge too. The way that you're going to show up also in work. Like if you're, I don't know, for me at least, when I don't go to the gym, I feel like my whole day is shot. Like if I don't go to the gym in the morning, it's like my routine's off. I feel more irritable. I feel more stressed. I start taking it out on people that don't deserve it. And so it's like for everybody else to be happy, I need to fill my cup first in like early morning, right?
Yeah.
And then I can be able to pour into others. But if I don't fill my cup first, then good luck everybody else. Because
Right.
you know.
Same thing with that being a business owner. When I come in and I'm had my workout and I'm fired up, like dude, they recognize that. My employees recognize that, and they see like, all right, you know, do I come in like a soup sandwich and I'm all tired, and like that sets the tone for my team. I'm setting the tone for my family. I'm setting the tone for my employees, my customers, like for everybody, and plus myself on top of that. Like set the tone. Like fitness fills that cup.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah, obviously, like I do fitness stuff, so I want to get your idea from a successful business person, like how much of a role that plays, because I feel like you can't really be to your top potential if you're not showing up. You know,
I think not to cut you off, but like not just fitness of like lifting weights or cardio, but also like your diet, your water intake, what food are you putting in your body? Like all of that plays a huge factor for how you think, how you operate throughout the day, like how you feel. Like that's not just I'm not just eating chicken and rice and broccoli or tracking macros and drinking a gallon of water just to like put myself on a pedestal. It's like my body performs better, plus sleep. Like all these things, my body performs at a higher level, and that compounds each day. And I don't think it's like something you're just going to do quickly and like have a huge change, like, yeah, there are progress that happens quickly, but like just have that discipline to stay on it, and it'll have benefits physically, mentally. It has a lot of benefits.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Where's the best place for people to follow you at, dude?
Instagram at Pristine Plumbing 208. That's really the only channel I got. I got some personal stuff, but I've deactivated those accounts, and Pristine Plumbing's my my go-to spot.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's been cool doing or seeing you at like community events too. It's pretty cool that like your company is so involved with the community and like the trunk or treat, and you've done some other I don't know what the other community ones, the chili cook-off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just try and get out in the community, shake hands. Like, just, I'm a regular dude. I'm nothing special. And I run a plumbing company. I'm a plumber. I'm a dad. Like, I'm just a regular guy, man. And I happen to do plumbing. Just trying to let people know who I am, you know, and like, I'm just a regular dude.
Yeah, I can attest to that. When you were at the trunk or treat, like you were just, there was a lot of people from the community that you've worked with, and they just had nothing but good things to say about you. And it was like you guys were all friends.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the cool part, is like I get to
Talk
go
about
out.
dirt bikes or something with that one dude,
Yeah.
you know, like.
I get to go out and like meet new people and like shake hands, and, like meet people like you and other people. And it's like, dude, this is cool. Like, I'm making connections here, and it's been fun. It's been real fun.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, no such thing as coincidences, and I'm glad I got to meet you. You know, not just at the ministry. We've gone to the Bible studies together, do the podcast. Like you're a cool dude. So yeah, I'll definitely look forward to having you again and see where this goes, dude.
Yeah.
It's been really cool to get to know you. I look forward to seeing you every week.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me on, and this has been a cool experience. I'm looking forward to coming back on.
Yeah, man, for sure. All right, dude. Well, I'll talk to you next time.
Sounds good.